Wrestle Palooza is on the horizon. WWE has said they want to make this show as big as SummerSlam, which is very, very interesting. But given that we are geeks and we are nerds and we like to come together to do this, put your thinking caps on and we are going to try and figure out what matches are going down. What matches we're going to try and predict. You know the matches. We're going to predict the matches at WWE Wrestlepalooza 2025. And we're going to start with Jimmy Uso and Jey Uso reuniting, not for the first time in years, because it was either earlier this year or late last year when they did the Scotland tour. That was over WrestleMania weekend, right? I think it was all in the build to WrestleMania. Shame we done that. Should have been Joe Hendry after all. And they're going to be taking on Bron Breakker and Bronson Reed. Fascinating match in many ways, and that's why I like the Jey Uso angle so much on this last week's episode of Raw. And I think when we get to this week's Raw, next week's I should say, can't talk, it's going to be super interesting. Does Jimmy Uso side with Jey? Is Jimmy Uso a little bit of an outlier? Is Jimmy Uso worried about his brother because he is coming Roman Reigns? Does Roman Reigns have anything to say about this? No, he's in a local medical facility. But I think it is striking before the iron was hot, right? Because I love Jey Uso. I think he's great. I love the crowd reactions. It makes me feel warm and fuzzy in my tum-tum. But eventually it would always peter out and it would balance out. That's just what happens, especially when he won his world title, he lost his world title. You know, you have to have more than just, whoa, come out and cheer for my entrance. And I think it gives him some proper edge. Not Adam Copeland, he went to AEW. So that excites me. But listen, as much as I love the Usos, I think they're one of the best tag teams of all time. The Raw division does need them. I do not think they're back together permanently is what I mean. If anything, this could be leading for them to try and do another singles match. Everybody will freak out about that, but we'll talk about it as and comes. But Bron Breakker and Bronson Reed right now. I mean, Bronson Reed, obviously he lost to Roman Reigns, which was fine, but he's really come out the other side of that and held his own. He's had some really good matches. I mean, he did beat LA Knight and Raw, which makes me think he may take the pin here, but I think you want to keep building him up. Obviously, they've decided Bron Breakker is the next big thing, makes all the sense in the world. He'll be a future WrestleMania main eventer. I just don't think those two dudes can lose right now. And that makes it really interesting because you put the Usos back together to be defeated. It all depends on what the story comes after the fact. But, and listen, they could pin Bronson Reed. But also, what do you do with that, right? That's kind of a great, the babyfaces won. And 9 times out of 10, you want the babyfaces to win, especially on pay-per-view. It's meant to be an entertainment show. You want to feel good. But if Jey Uso is going to have this new attitude going back to the late 90s, it doesn't even necessarily need to be a full-blown heel turn. He just has to be justified in what he is saying. And so far he is. He does get screwed over a lot, does old Jey. But then him either being responsible for the loss or not being there for his brother or making a mistake, taking an eye over the ball, being too selfish because Roman Reigns said you've got to stop worrying about everybody, me, your brother, your mum, your dad, etc., etc. That's way more interesting to me than they just win and you go on to do whatever. Again, they could be put into the tag team title scene, but I don't believe that WWE is going to do that. And given that Seth Rollins at the moment is spending all of his time with Becky Lynch, I just think the Bronsons doing something off their own back, and they can cheat or do some kind of shenanigans should they so wish, though I'd actually use the Jey Uso angle. I just think it would help them, and then maybe they could go win the Raw tag team titles. Somebody's got to do them, because poor Finn Balor and JD McDonagh, I'm sure, are desperate to defend them, but there just are no teams. So either of these teams could go for those belts, so I think that's fine. I would merge the tag team championships. I just think, given how many teams there are on SmackDown, it would make that division wonderful, especially they do it with the NXT belts as well, just like the women's one. I think that works way better. But I think Bronson Reed and Bron Breakker are going to win, and in many ways, I give Bronson Reed the actual pin as well. He can hit his new jagged edge finisher. I'm a big fan of that, because the Tsunami has now been sold. Like, what happened after the match against LA Knight? He was going to Tsunami both guys before LA Knight came out to make their, or returned with a chair, I should say, after taking his Phoenix down. And everyone's like, oh no, he's going to Tsunami him. Again, Roman Reigns is in a local medical facility because of this. Seth Rollins was taking out and a bunch of other people. So it can't always be a super duper finisher now. You can't just take it 1, 2, 3 and we don't talk about it again. And Bronson Reed is so big and look cool too. Him hitting a DVD works. So maybe you could do that, but I think the Usos lose because Jey Uso does something that's just a little bit selfish. Nothing too in your face, a bit shades of grey here, and then we do whatever we do with him. Doesn't mean he has to be portrayed as a heel. Doesn't need to come out with new music and wear dark clothes, be like, oh my gosh, my soul and my heart in the pits of hell with like new metal playing, although I'm always down for some new metal. But yeah, I think Bronson Reed and Bron Breakker should win. And they should continue to establish themselves as like their own entity. They don't need Seth Rollins to be a dominant force. And then, yeah, maybe we do something with Jimmy and Jey Uso. I can't wait to see what we do with Jey Uso. Do not back out of this WWE. Not that you're going to listen to a random bored a-hole, but it's the most interesting thing they've done with that character in a while. And I believe by hook or by crook or by fluke, you've picked the right time. I hope we have an end game to all of this, whatever it may be. So I'm going with The Vision, I suppose. Terrible name. I don't like it at all. It's not growing on me. Usually names grow on me. It just sounds a bit like, The Vision. Okay. But yes, I do think they will win. I think it'll be pretty damn good. I think it could set them up. I'm also going to say they win the tag team titles as well. Not a flub nut. And we are going to decide who is the brand new WWE Women's Champion, because it is Io Sky versus Stephanie Vaquer. Totally bizarre build. Stephanie Vaquer was not on Raw, and they didn't tell us why, which is just poor storytelling. I mean, listen, it could tie into a personal issue. Don't tell me that. You can make something up. It's pro wrestling. It's all lies. But then she pops up on NXT with Rhea Ripley and somebody else, I can't remember now, and she's going to be on Homecoming next week. NXT show. Now, I assume that means she is going to work Wrestle Palooza, which is good. But no promos, no standoff. Poor Io Sky just been yelling, or she's been teaming with Rhea Ripley and yelling at Asuka. I don't get it, man. Listen, I understand that the belt has been held up. I get the logic behind this match too. Like, Io Sky was meant to have a match against Naomi when she announced she was pregnant, and Stephanie Vaquer won that Battle Royal at Evolution 2. But I just think, you don't have to follow sort of simple logic sometimes, and actually would have negated all of this. I would have done some kind of a tournament, or I don't know, that's a bit lame maybe, but just something that felt a bit more, oh my gosh, I can't believe it. Although actually you could argue with Simon, Io Sky wasn't able to wrestle for some reason, so you may have screwed the pooch there. I think Stephanie Vaquer is going to win. I think that WWE will see it as an opportunity to push somebody up to that main event scene. And without wanting to be too much a negative in Nancy, her call up to Raw hasn't been a disaster, but it has sort of petered out the last few weeks. Like, what has she done since Evolution 2? Basically nothing. And again, she could have been injured. We don't know, but I don't know, so I have to speculate. But I actually think WWE should give the belt to Stephanie Vaquer, have her feud with Io Sky, do something with Rhea Ripley, Asuka. There's a bunch of people. The Raw Women's division is really good, and you could probably call more people up too. But then, like I say, you've established her at that level, and Io Sky is clearly one of Triple H's favourites, and she's brilliant, right? And she has all the stuff she can do with Rhea Ripley and Asuka. You don't necessarily need to insert the belt into that. And also, I'd imagine that Asuka and Kairi Sane are going to come out, because they keep saying, we're going to do it whether you like it or not. So there is an easy get out of jail free card here where they kind of screw her over. I know that I'm advocating for a lot of distractions here, but I'm just going by what I see on the TV. WWE. I'm totally obsessed with them. But then you can spin off into that, and who Stephanie Vaquer feuds with? It's probably going to be Asuka, I would imagine. But Asuka still needs to do something with Rhea Ripley too. But I would just do it, right? Usually I think you can hold off after you've only just called somebody up, but it's so wishy-washy, and she has nothing else. If she loses, I kind of feel like she's going to be on an island all to herself, whereas Io Sky is well more established. So let's actually use a championship to establish her. What's that phrase I'm definitely going to get wrong? The belt can either make the man, or the man can make the belt, or the woman can make the belt, etc., etc. And that's what we can do here. We can say, look, Stephanie Vaquer is the champion. You all know she's great. You all love her. You all love that devil's kiss move, especially Booker T. So, we'll double down on it, and we'll push her, and she's have some great matches. She's a supreme talent, right? And I know she's working on her English promos at the moment, but even when she tries, it's so endearing. Like, damn it, Stephanie, I believe in you. That's all you want from a babyface: sympathy and empathy, and the desire for them to win, and a desire for them to do well. It will be great. They fought twice. This is their third battle. I can't remember the win-loss record. It's irrelevant, because, again, it's a vacant championship. But I wouldn't stand on ceremony, Mr. Wayne. I'd give it to Stephanie Vaquer. Yes, you should probably involve Asuka and Kairi Sane. Kairi Sane, when she stood there, and Asuka would go, raw! Kairi Sane will zoom off. And Rhea Ripley can probably come out too. But then all these people should be involved in that women's title scene. Some should be personal beef. Some should be going after the belt. And, Rhea Ripley needs some matches soon too. All she does is appear in backstage skits. It's very, very strange. And, of course, we need to decide whether Kairi Sane is going to be heel or face. But it will be a brilliant match. Could arguably steal the show if you give them enough time. And if WWE are trying to establish Wrestle Palooza as like a big SummerSlam type event, you probably need to change some titles to let people know, oh, it's a seismic thing. You should check it out. So, going with Stephanie Vaquer, it won't hurt Io Sky. Io Sky's on the level now. You can do whatever you want with her. The booking has to be good. But in terms of win-losses, she's too talented, and people love her too much. It's a secret sauce. Giving it to Stephanie. John Cena, Brock Lesnar in a singles match, a blood feud, crappy build. Just going to be honest. I know I've said this a lot, but we wouldn't allow anybody else to get away with it, right? Come back at SummerSlam, vanish. Come back on random SmackDown, vanish. No promos, no back and forth. Now all of a sudden we're doing the pay-per-view. SmackDown is happening tonight as I do record this. They're going to go a packed week next week. Thought, screw it, let's get it done. I don't want it to get lost in the shuffle. And Brock Lesnar is cutting a promo, so you better have some good reason for this. My dream booking for this is John Cena, Brock Lesnar's the way that Brock Lesnar, John Cena back at the 2014 SummerSlam. It's a very hard sentence to say, because I just think it would make John Cena into a powerhouse, and he can have his last 3 or 4 matches and be like, oh my gosh, big match. John is absolutely back. There's no way they're going to do this. Brock Lesnar hasn't been on TV for 2 years, although he did do it against Goldberg in 2016, although he'd been on TV regularly then. Although it was his first big loss after the Undertaker schmozzy thing. I don't know, maybe I'm getting carried away there. I have to have John Cena win this match, both on a personal and a professional level. But I'm now starting to believe that John Cena is going to lose his last match. So I'm future booking here. If that's the case, we can't have any more losses. Like, he has a loss earlier on in the year, I suppose, at the Royal Rumble, you could argue. He then loses to Cody Rhodes bang in the middle of the year. and then his third and final loss can be at the end of the year. So he puts over Jey Uso, worked. Puts over Cody Rhodes, worked. He doesn't need, you see what I mean? He doesn't need to put over Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar is Brock Lesnar, and he's a controversial figure, of course he is, but he's on television now, so we have to focus on the story things too. I don't know. The thing is, what does Brock Lesnar do after this? You're not going to do another John Cena match. I think the fans would be super mad after so many of John Cena's dates was used on Logan Paul. Again, great match, but we probably could have condensed it and maybe squeezed somebody else in there, like an AJ Styles. Disappointing we didn't get one final one of those. But if Brock Lesnar wins, who does he fight? Brock Lesnar loses, who does he fight? I mean, most people want to see like a Brock Lesnar versus a Gunther, but that would probably be a WrestleMania thing. You're not going to start planning that now. So it's a very, very interesting situation. And I'm intrigued to see what they do with him, because he is a star in the way that they see stars. Like, they're going to protect him and they're going to book him well. I don't think he'll ever be the world champion again, but they pay him millions of dollars and he never has to turn up to work, right? So they consider him a certain level. But I think John Cena has to win. I think what will probably happen, I think it'll be super slow placed. I don't think it'll go very long. I think it'll be sub 10 minutes. I think Brock Lesnar is going to bludgeon this man. I actually think Brock Lesnar will bludgeon him like he did at SummerSlam 2014. Just beat on him and beat on him and beat on him and beat on him and beat on him. But just when you think it is going to go that way and we're doing an homage, we're doing a wink, wink, nudge, nudge, John Cena will become Big Match John. He'll fight back, he'll hit at least 72 AAs. You can't beat him on the first one. Do you know how happy I'd be if he beat him on the first one? We need to address that balance. But he'll hit at least 4 AAs, and I think he'll pin him. I hope there's no shenanigans in this one. But he'll win. There'll be something you're like, oh, there's the moment, and then he gets the 1, 2, 3, and Brock Lesnar probably kicks out a 3.5 or something stupid like that. But that's actually what I think they'll do. I think it'll be 9 minutes of the kid from The Simpsons going, stop, stop. John Cena is already dead. And then somehow he squeezes out the win. Now, where Brock Lesnar still feels like a monster, it's a lot like we booked Brock when he came back in 2012. I think that's right. I always get my years wrong. Like, everyone couldn't believe that he lost a bunch of matches. He did lose quite a lot. I mean, not loads, especially the Extreme Rules one, right? His re-debut where he lost to Cena. But he murders Cena in that. He absolutely kicks his ass. So I think it will be that match, actually. It will be the same as theirs. So instead of SummerSlam 2014 when Brock won, it'll be Extreme Rules 2012. I hope they've got that right. But John Cena pulls out the victory. I guess I'm kind of intrigued to see it. I just think Cena has to win. There has to be some goodwill stuff on this show. And yeah, if he does lose, we have to rematch it, and we don't need two Brock Lesnar matches. Although, I want the Dominic Mysterio match. We've not had that, have we? As I stare off into the distance, no, I don't think we have. But I'm going with John Cena. I think there is a way to make Brock Lesnar look like the Beast, which is what WWE is wanting to do, without actually taking away from John Cena's win-loss record, which is always very good at leaning on. I'm going with Cena, doubling down on it. I'm not confident at all, but it's happening and there's nothing I can do about it. Even though it's not officially confirmed, it does sound like Cody Rhodes versus Drew McIntyre will be the match for Wrestle Palooza. Like Triple H on the Pat McAfee show said, Cody Rhodes will be back in time for Wrestle Palooza. And that's probably why we're doing Drew McIntyre versus Randy Orton tonight. I think they were holding that off for the pay-per-view just in case. You can't have Cody Rhodes win the belt at SummerSlam, go to film his bits as Guile for Street Fighter, and then come back and lose to Drew. However, you don't really want Drew McIntyre to lose. I think there is an outside shot. This is why I shouldn't go so early with these videos. It could be a triple threat match. Because if Randy Orton is going to go heel, which I've been saying now for over a year, and is going to do his Cody feud, you kind of want him slap bang in the middle of this, although at the same time, Drew McIntyre could just beat him later, probably cheating. And that's another reason why Randy Orton starts to see, like, I lost at King of the Ring, and I lost to Gunther that time, and now I'm losing here as well, before he takes it out on Cody. So we'll just go with Cody versus Drew. Either way, Cody will walk away with that championship. I don't think anyone's going to take it off him. I think the person that should take him off him is Randy Orton. I mean, the heel turn may not work in these days because he's such a legend, right? He's such a GOAT figure that it may actually be quite of a difficult thing to get fans to boo him. But that's down to the creative, that's down to the story, and that's down to the power of Cody as a babyface. But I don't think we should change the world title now. Like, you don't want to play hot potato with that belt, especially when there's other belts you could actually elevate by switching them around. That championship is not one of them. So it could be a triple threat, but either way, Randy Orton is either going to get screwed tonight on SmackDown or he'll get screwed in that match. But if it's just Cody versus Drew, how do you do it? Because what does Drew McIntyre do? If it's Cody Rhodes versus Randy Orton, that's an elongated program. Drew McIntyre kind of gets lost in the shuffle, and that'll piss him off, and probably arguably deservedly so. It's a difficult one, but Cody Rhodes will win, right? Whatever we do, let's say it's him versus Drew, Cody Rhodes will definitely get the victory. But this is a really interesting one to watch. In fact, this is the one I want you to comment down below. Like, what the flub do we do here? Because there's so many different ways you can go with it, and maybe WWE don't care about protecting Drew McIntyre. Maybe that's the truth. I mean, in this match, in this feud with CM Punk kind of decidedly won that one. Then ever since then, Drew McIntyre's kind of been here, there, and everywhere. He was fighting for the US title not that long ago. That belt's become so damn strange. But Cody Rhodes will win. And then I think we're going to get into that Randy Orton. I think the Survivor Series and the War Games will sort of shove us that way. And given where we are, maybe we even do Randy versus Cody at WrestleMania 42. I always thought it'd be Punk versus Cody Rhodes, but now I'm starting to think the WWE may hold off the Seth Rollins match till then. And listen, you can do what you want. I do like Seth and Punk together. But yes, I'm going with Cody Rhodes. I think it would be mad to do anything else. And of course, I think probably the main event or the opener, I don't think you could put it in the middle of the show, it'd be crazy, is CM Punk and AJ Lee, husband and wife, taking on Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins, husband and wife, which is absolutely tremendous. I mean, this AJ Lee thing has been wonderful. Shout out to all the crazy people that told me I'm a weakling for thinking mental health is important. Generally made me laugh. What a waste of your life to send me that message. So a lot of people did say, you're a big old guy, Simon, but secretly a weakling. I ignored the weakling part. I probably am a bit of a wuss. I was like, big guy, all right. Yeah, here we go. What a compliment. Because I have mad body dysmorphia. Don't need to talk about this predictions video. This is difficult. You wouldn't think it would be, right? But if AJ Lee is going to beat Becky Lynch for the Intercontinental title, and obviously CM Punk eventually is going to get his revenge, and beat Seth Rollins for their World Championship, couldn't CM Punk and AJ Lee lose here? Now, if it's the main event, no. I think you want to end the show on a high. And you could even argue a great way to justify them getting rematches is for them to win. That's classic 101 wrestling booking. We beat you in the non-title match, and now we deserve a title match. Now we deserve a non-title match. It's nothing. It's Groundhog Day. And also, again, simple wrestling booking. AJ Lee coming back after 10.5 years away. Everybody loves her. Everybody's going crazy for her. Crazy social media views. It feels very Vince McMahon booking to me to go, oh, you lost. Because that's going to pop people's balloons. And, of course, the Vision could run out and Seth Rollins could do some screwy stuff. But I think this one you want to keep simple. The CM Punk, Seth Rollins stuff probably shouldn't be involved in the finish because I think we've put more tent poles in there. So I just think the finish should be AJ Lee pinning Becky Lynch, and then AJ Lee can say, hey, Becky, I'm not going anywhere. I want to challenge you for the Intercontinental title. You can do it at Survivor Series, you can hold off to the Royal Rumble. Depends how ballsy you want to be. And I think AJ Lee should be the third ever, I think that's right, Women's Intercontinental Champion. I think it raises that belt massively. I think it creates a nice divide between the people in the World Title Program, the people here. It's going to make that belt something people can actually want to go for. Night and day compared to the SmackDown Women's US Championship. But it also just makes sense. You can't argue that. One person beat a champion in a ring. It was a tag team shimmadig, and now they want a shot at the championship. And CM Punk and Seth Rollins could probably brawl into the distance. I'm not necessarily sure this was ever part of the plan for CM Punk versus Seth Rollins. It was probably just a cool thing that came up. So just continue to head to whatever the end goal is there. CM Punk winning at a WrestleMania, Royal Rumble, or whatever. And then we just throw this into the mix. That's what I would do. I think it's going to be great. I think AJ Lee should either start the thing or we should hold off her tag for ages, much like we did in the Ronda Rousey debut. Always a great mixed tag that I like to go back within WWE. I think it's going to be fun to watch. I think Becky and Seth are going to be internally laughing their asses off because they're so good in these roles. And I imagine CM Punk and AJ Lee will be doing the same thing. Probably looking around going, well, how did we get here, man? Isn't it totally crazy? Yes, it is. But it's awesome and it's cool. And some people have said some horrible things, but I think that says more about you than it does about anybody else. But yeah, AJ Lee pins Becky Lynch or uses that weird octopus hold. Did she ever have like a momentum move that could get the three? She probably did. I've forgotten it. Or you could tap her out with the weird octopus thing. What was it called? The Devil's Wim Wham. I can't remember what it's called. Like a spider name or something like that. But that's what we should do. Becky Lynch will sell it wonderfully. She's so damn great. Some crazy hot takes about Becky Lynch recently, which you are allowed. I'm not trying to take away your opinions at all. I just don't get them. They're completely lost to me. I think she's one of the best, screw women, I think she's one of the best WWE superstars of all time. Genuinely. I think she's awesome. And I read a book and that made me think she was even more awesome. What do I know? Probably nothing. We also may get Dominic Mysterio versus AJ Styles, only because I think that Dominic may win the AAA Mega title. Although he's down in... Is he down in Mexico on the Friday? Oh, I don't know. I can't remember that. But I think if we do that, because it sounds like we're going to do it one more time, that could be what AJ Styles talked about in his advert promo on Netflix. I think AJ Styles will finally win. So you could throw that in there as well. But we have 5 matches. WWE usually likes to keep it to 5. I don't think they're going to go too long here. They may sneak something else in. We'll have to wait and see. But I think they're the solid ones. But we'll throw AJ and Dom in there in the sense that now get in the comments and let me know your predictions so you can do the Intercontinental title one as well. Or if you think there's something else I've missed, please throw it in there as well. Like the video, share the video. Please do hit that subscribe button, most important thing, and click the video on the screen. YouTube is kicking my ass as of late with views. Shout out to the guy that got mad at me for being annoyed that I'm not doing as well on YouTube recently. terrible social media. I'm starting to hate it, but don't worry about that. Otherwise, isgrillamine.com/Simon. You can just go to Simon, get 10% off ships worldwide. Got creatine HCl now as well, which actually can be better on your stomach if you get bloated from creatine. Everybody should be on creatine if you go to the gym, unless it bloats you and you have negative side effects, because it's the one supplement we know that works, because actually research for it. Check out my new fitness channel if you want to talk more about that stuff, and of course, patreon.com/SimonMiller316 for my Patreon, for my watch-alongs. SimonMiller316 on social media, and then what is it? It's TikTok, and it's Cameo, and it's Big Cartel, and all those things. Just search my name, but I appreciate your support, my friends. Have a lovely weekend. Enjoy the build to All Out and Wrestle Palooza. It's probably going to be exhausting. And I'll see you soon.